welcome back. Today we'd like to invite you on a culinary journey, a journey that will have your taste buds on overdrive, where you can imagine the delicious aromas that would filter from these exclusive kitchens, where every bite is a masterpiece and you'll enjoy an unforgettable fine dining experience. Number 10. Restaurant Les Maurices, Paris, France, $480 per person. Opulent is the first thing that springs to mind when you first see this gorgeous restaurant. Decked with crystal chandeliers, marble, antique mirrors, and beautiful paintings, you can only imagine the heavenly meal that's headed your way. The restaurant is in Les Maurices, one of the most beautiful hotels in Paris, which stood since 1815. Many notable figures have stayed there, including Salvador Dali, Elizabeth Taylor, and Ginger Rogers, as well as kings, sultans, and other prominent figures. The restaurant has sweeping views of the Tuileries Garden and is currently run by Jocelyn Herland, who credits Alain Ducasse for the opportunity. It's a 2 Michelin-starred restaurant, serving the freshest ingredients on handmade crockery and ensuring that your every culinary need is met to sheer perfection. Number 9. Per Se, New York, $685 per person. At a young age, Thomas Keller was told that food was a way of nurturing people, and it fueled his desire to become a chef. He's owned several restaurants in the past, but Per Se became his creme de la creme. It overlooks Central Park, and the whole experience was over the top and elaborate. Diners could choose from 4 different salts to pair with their dishes. The restaurant quickly earned 3 Michelin star status and was named the best restaurant in New York City back in 2011. Keller was able to take haute cuisine and inject an element of playfulness and personality into it, and the menu would change depending on the freshest ingredients that were available at the time. In 2016, the restaurant received a scathing review from critic Pete Wells, claiming it was dull and just not worth the money. Many debates have cropped up, questioning the value of these types of restaurants, which take hours and cost a fortune, whereas younger chefs are making equally delicious food in fantastic locations at a fraction of the cost. Keller did apologize to patrons and is using the review as a learning curve and continues to wow his guests with delicious food and enticing flavor combinations. Number 8. Masa, New York City, $595 per person. This is one of the most expensive restaurants in New York City, and you need to book far in advance as there's only 26 seats inside. It's situated in the Time Warner Center, and its decor is simple, so you're not distracted from your gastronomic journey. There is no menu, so you need to trust that Masa will deliver on his promise of the most sublime flavors. Chef Masa, or Masayoshi Takayama, always had a love of food. His family had a fish market, and as a child, he would deliver fresh sashimi to neighbors on his bicycle. When he was in high school, he catered for weddings, and he apprenticed under Sugiyama Toshiaki, renowned as a sushi master. If you're fortunate enough to dine here, notice that the sushi counter is a solid piece of hinoki. Hinoki is a prized piece of wood taken from a cypress tree in Japan. The wood is considered to be sacred and has a lemon scent to it. Every day the counter is sanded to create a soft, porous state, which is both pleasing to look at and feel. And the best place to sit is at the bar, so you can see the master at work. Number 7. Ultraviolet, Shanghai, China, $600 to $900 per person. Turbulent, unpredictable, and unconventional. Those are just some of the words used by the creator and chef of Ultraviolet, the first multi-sensory dining experience in the world. Paul Perret, an avant-garde French chef, took 16 years to make his dream a reality. With 3 Michelin stars under his belt, Ultraviolet has been offering this surreal experience since 2012. There's only 1 table in the restaurant, which seats 10 people. You'll be served 22 courses, plus drinks to match each one. Diners meet at one location, Mr. and Mrs. Bund, also owned by Perret, and enjoy a cocktail and a snack. They then embark on a ride to an undisclosed location in a van they can't see out of. Once there, they head into the dining room with stark white walls and your name illuminated on your seat. Then, the show begins. The room is transformed by lights, sounds, and scents, and you're transported to different scenes throughout the evening. The ratio of staff to guest is 2.5 to 1, so your every need is catered to. Number 6. Maison Pic, Valence, France. $445 per person. It's been in the family since 1889. It wasn't always a grand Michelin 3-star affair, but began as a simple country inn named Café Restaurant du Pin by Sophie Pic. Her husband, Eugene, hunted, so they specialized in game. Under their son André Pic, they received their 3 Michelin stars in 1939. André's son Jacques wasn't keen on being a chef, but when his dad lost their 3rd star in 1946 and their 2nd star in 1950, he decided to change his career path and earn the stars back, which he managed to do. They held on to that rating until 1995, 3 years after Jacques' death. His daughter, Sophie, took over the restaurant from her brother and regained the lost star in 2007. She's the only female chef in France to have 3 Michelin stars. Jacques created the first tasting menu, which has been used worldwide since. Heading to Maison Pic takes you on an appetizing journey to the past with modern twists on classic dishes. Spend a night at the 5-star hotel, Hotel Maison Pic, to have the ultimate luxurious experience. Number 5. Kyoto Kicho Arashiyama, Kyoto, Japan. $450 per person. The idea of Kyoto Kicho began back in 1925 when founder Yuki Taichi found some kaiseki cuisine menus and was inspired to begin his own restaurant. Kaiseki is the traditional multi-course Japanese dinner. He opened Otaya Dekoro Kicho back in 1939, but Kyoto Kicho Arashiyama, as we know it today, opened in 1948. All your senses will be indulged when you sit down on the floor mat for your 10-course menu. The views of the garden are beautiful and they change with every season, so every time you go there, you'll encounter a change in the landscape and scenery. The dining experience is roughly 3 hours from start to finish, and there are many elements to it other than just the food. It's a bit theatrical, artistic, and a part historical, with interesting stories and facts about the past and the origins of the dishes. Many feel it's a shame to ruin the artistic display of the food by eating it. The executive chef is Tokuoka Kunio, the grandson of Yuki Taichi. In 2016, he was appointed as International Ambassador for My Prefecture Foods, an area of Japan that specializes in ice lobster. Number 4. Guy Savoy, Paris and Las Vegas. $385 per person. Seduction is not usually a word you would associate with food, but viewing the website for Guy Savoy, it's the only way to describe the food and culinary experience you'll get booking a table at one of these 2 restaurants. One is in Monet de Paris, and the other in Las Vegas. Guy Savoy is the owner of the restaurants, and he was born in France. He spends a few weeks a year at the Las Vegas restaurant, but his son runs it in his absence. Savoy alternates his French chefs to ensure that the expectation and quality remain the same. Gordon Ramsay received his training from Guy and called him a culinary mentor. Savoy won numerous awards for his gastronomic input. His Las Vegas restaurant received 2 Michelin stars, the Forbes 5-Star Award, the AAA 5 Diamond Award, and the Wine Spectator Grand Award. He's won the French Influence Award for gastronomy, and his Paris restaurant has received 3 Michelin stars. It's been ranked as one of the top 50 restaurants in the world in 2004 and 2005. Savoy stepped out of his comfort zone in 2007, and we'll tell you how later. Number 3. Restaurant de l'Hôtel de Ville, Switzerland. $415 per person. On the outskirts of Lucerne in Switzerland, Benjamin Giraudet opened a small restaurant. He ran the establishment from 1955 until his passing in 1965. His son, Freddie, a trained typographer, took over the restaurant and eventually the kitchen. Typography and cooking are worlds apart, but Freddie said he had an epiphany while dining at Trois Gros Brothers in Rome. He said he just knew he needed to create delicacies for people to enjoy. He had a golden rule, and that was to never use more than 3 flavors on a plate. It's a rule that's been followed by every succeeding chef since. Being called the chef of the century is no small feat, and he's left an incredible mark on the culinary world. The restaurant only uses local vegetables and game from hunters. Reviews from guests have used words such as perfection, exceptional at every level, and from another planet. Number 2. Aragawa, Tokyo, $370 a person. Believed to be the most famous Kobe beef restaurant in Japan, Aragawa has been serving sublime steaks since 1956. The restaurant is in an unassuming and quiet part of Tokyo, and the decor won't leave you overwhelmed. Perhaps a good thing, so you can focus on the melt-in-your-mouth steak you'll be feasting on. The founder, Chef Jiro Yamada, passed away in 2011, and his sons took over the business as head chef and restaurant manager. Their specialty is Sanda beef, which is a variety of Kobe beef. Kobe is the region the cattle are from, and it's a recognized Wagyu brand. Wagyu means Japanese beef. This beef is costly because there are only a few farmers who produce less than 1,000 cattle a year. In comparison, around 3,000 Kobe beef are raised each year. Wagyu cattle farmers follow stringent rules and guidelines to have their beef receive the Wagyu clearance. Young cattle are fed by hand, and when it's cold, they wear sweaters. With only 10 tables in the restaurant, bookings are essential. The steak has been described as surreal, once in a lifetime, and the best I've ever tasted. Number 1. Sublimotion, Ibiza, Spain, $2,380 per person. Inside the Hard Rock Hotel on the Spanish island of Ibiza, there's a restaurant that's almost like the adult version of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, except all of your senses will be overloaded. The owner and head chef is Paco Roncero, who opened the restaurant back in 2014. You'll be dining with 11 others inside the capsule. The capsule is a blank canvas which transforms into various magical experiences. The audio-visual experience was created by illusionists, engineers, and screenwriters, and there's a musical menu to watch, with each course being served with a choreographed number. You'll enjoy 3 hours of adventures as you head off into space, go to the depths of the ocean, enjoy a cabaret in the 20th century, and dine with friends in the future. During the evening, diners are given VR headsets, which takes them into a fantasy world, while music is provided by award-winning composers and popular Ibiza DJs. Dining at Sublimotion is definitely a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity you will never forget, and worth every penny. And that's a wrap on the top 10 most expensive restaurants. Before you go, we're curious. Have you dined at any of these exclusive, expensive restaurants? Which ones? And if not, which would be at the top of your list to try first? Let us know in the comments. Thank you for spending some time with us. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss a video.